Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Hare Krishna Project podcast. This is episode number 125. A huge thank you to everyone who continues to tune in on a regular basis from all over the world. I appreciate you being with us. Do not forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button so you can be kept updated about future podcasts and video productions from the Hare Krishna Project. Or if you're watching this on Facebook, please also follow or like the Hare Krishna Project Facebook page. That is the other way you can keep updated about what we're doing here at the Hare Krishna Project. Also, as you know, we're just about holding on to that top spot as the #1 Hare Krishna podcast in the world. We're still on a bit of a roll. We're far exceeding, in terms of the number of views of this podcast, our nearest competitors. There's nothing better than like a bit of healthy competition. I find it keeps us all on our toes. Okay. Episode 125. I don't know if that means something, that number. It sounds a very powerful number, because I guess or strong number, because we're a quarter of the way through our second series of 100. That makes sense. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our guest this week. It's Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for inviting me on your Hare Krishna podcast for the second time. I'm extremely honored.
Yeah, and actually, you're in an elite group. You're only the third person in history to appear on the Hare Krishna Project podcast twice.
I feel extremely honored that I have been selected, even though I do not have that qualification. But still, thank you very much for selecting me as your second-time guest. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a very small elite group. But in a minute, it will become apparent as to why you are returning. You previously appeared on episode 78, which was September 2023. So I cannot believe it's June 24 already. So it's about 9 months ago. I'm terrible at maths. 9 months ago. And it's great to have you back with us. Now, what normally happens on this podcast is I allow the guests to introduce themselves, but I'm not going to do it because he did it last time. So I'm going to say a bit about Sundar Gopal Prabhu to kind of set the scene and get us going with today's discussion. Sundar Gopal Prabhu is a research fellow and curator at the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre in Kolkata. And he spends a lot of his days, a lot of his time guarding and preserving the private library of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And I am forever in debt to Sundar Gopal Prabhu because we were in touch a lot during the pandemic, 2020, 2021. He was helping me with the research for my book, looking at the life and times of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his links to the UK, and he helped me a lot to piece together some of that story from the 1930s in Britain. Many of you know there was a Hare Krishna movement in Britain from 1933 to 1937. There was a lot of stuff happening, and thanks to Sundar Gopal Prabhu, who would translate Bengali into English for me, because believe it or not, I don't speak Bengali yet. It's on my list to do, my list to learn. He was very helpful, and I appreciate that. And in addition to that, many of you know here at the Hare Krishna Project, we are marking and celebrating all year the 150th anniversary of the appearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He appeared in 1874. It's 150 years later. So we're celebrating and marking that all year, not just in February on the day of the actual Vyasa Puja or appearance day. And so we are doing lots of stuff online to celebrate this incredible individual in terms of the impact he has made in the world and continues to make, despite physically not being present. So let's start, Sundar Gopal Prabhu, by let's talking a little bit about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Who was he? Who is he? And what was his mission all about?
Well, we all know that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is known around the world as the Lion Guru. But of course, why he became a Lion Guru and what was his main contribution, his mission, we will start with that. So I mean, if you go to the past, you will see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur's greatest blessing to the entire Vaishnav community is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Because after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then that time many pseudo sects have come and started claiming that they are also the followers of Mahaprabhu. They're dressing themselves as the damsels of Vrindavan and claiming that this legacy has been approved by Mahaprabhu, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur want to break and want to establish the pure Gaudiya teachings or the pure doctrines of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for that, he revived the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and that was further taken away, or the legacy was brought, or the followed, or carried by Bhaktisiddhanta, none other than his own son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So he was the one who preached powerfully and fearlessly the doctrines of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without compromising for anything. So at a very young age, if you see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur would make Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur read the scriptures, Chaitanya Shikshamrita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, he was actually nurturing him that time. And a 7-year-old boy at that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was teaching him how to worship Kurma, the mantra of Kurmadev also he gave to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So like that, his childhood was like Bhaktivinoda Thakur was nurturing to become a fearless preacher in the future to carry the doctrines of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that, he was studying the scriptures which Bhaktivinoda Thakur was recommending, and with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he would go to the places where Bhaktivinoda Thakur would speak Harikathas in the evening in Calcutta, like the house of renowned. In Calcutta, in earlier days, every evening there was an elite class of people, and the knowledgeable or the educated society, they would have evening conference, or every evening after their work they would all come there, sit together, and would discuss about Vaishnavism. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that time would accompany Bhaktivinoda Thakur to those places and would hear the lectures of all of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all the other people who were present there. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the one who preached powerfully and fearlessly the doctrines of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without compromising for anything. Among many of his traits of his speech, when he would speak, the capacity there was a power in his speech. The capacity was to pierce through the people's hearts to explain what pure devotion was. His speech was that powerful. Otherwise, you can't imagine during the 1930s and the 1929s, all these kings, all these zamindars, all these advocates, district magistrate, everybody was astounded by his great personality, the speeches. Even in Benares Hindu University, he was invited by Madan Mohan Malviya, and he went there and he spoke about the place of Vaishnavism in religion. I mean, you can understand his greatness as who he is and or who he was. Of course, he's not was, he's of course is for us. He's still living through his instructions, his teachings, his books, and I feel he's basically with us through his disciples. If you see each of his disciples are so exalted. And main thing I would like to talk about his mission, that the explanation he would give during his preaching and or during his lecture. See, he has written very less articles or books, but mostly he would speak and devotees would take dictation and then they would publish books. Of course, it would go through him. So there were many people, in that time they said if Prabhupada would not be so strict about consumption of betel nut and tobacco and tea, etc., many people could have joined his movement. So when he heard this letter from the devotees, he told that even if everyone leaves, I will still preach the truth under the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. Even if one fortunate person hears it alone, he alone can render great services to the humanity. This was his characteristic. He would leave the entire world for the sake of his religion and faith. And of course, he would give people chance to reconcile and rectify. But still, if they would not do, then he would not worry about everyone. He was himself was capable enough to do anything and everything. So because gaining popularity was never his scheme. Never his scheme. His powerful preaching. And another thing of his mission, I feel that his mission was like to preach against casteism and sahajiyas, and how effective it was that he debunked those very strongly rooted influences in Indian culture and also our religious traditions.
Mm. Mm.
Like if
Why?
you, yes,
No,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no,
Go
no,
ahead.
you continue. Sorry.
Why do you think so many people? Because despite being, in one sense, you could say that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was quite strict. So, like, no, I'm not going to allow tobacco, or what was the other thing that you said?
Tobacco, tea, and betel
Tobacco
nut.
tea, betel nut. I'm going to stick to the principles, and we're not going to allow these things. Despite that, he was still incredibly popular, and he gained a big following. A lot of
Yes.
people were attracted to him. Why do you think people were so inspired to follow him?
See, he lived his life through example, and people see example in life. So, what it's not that his actions were more powerful than his words. So, what he has practiced, he has preached that. It's there
Mm,
in the scriptures that you cannot preach what you have not practiced. I can tell someone that please do not smoke, please do not drink where I'm drinking and I'm smoking. Will it work? Of course not. So, he lived by example. So, what he practiced, he preached that. And that's why people have taken it. See, even though I mean he was not having so many followers, but he didn't care. Of course, whatever followers he was having, those were the gems, and
mm,
I will
mm,
say that each one of his followers have created great impact on Vaishnavism after he left this world. So imagine that he was not having huge followers, but whatever followers he was having, they were great. So that was his greatness of being an acharya. Like in his pranam mantra, we see Apasiddhanta. So he's an acharya who removed the thorns, and these thorns are the philosophical doubts which he has removed to, I mean, to preach, to establish the doctrines of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. And
mm,
that was his main mission.
mm,
And for him, in Sanatan Dharma, only truth prevailed. So
mm,
he wanted to prevail truth instead of, he never satisfied anyone. He, whatever he preached fearlessly. If you can accept, accept. If you cannot, you cannot. And those who couldn't accept, it was their loss. It was not his loss. Imagine in that time, before the independence of India, he has established 64 mutts all over India. Not only that, he sent preachers to London. I mean, and the greatness of his preaching was not only the common people, but the kings, zamindars, why they were getting attracted. Because what he was preaching, that was the pure doctrine form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
mm.
And I was reading something yesterday, very interesting, a book of Bhaktivedanta Thakur in Bengali, where Bhaktivedanta Thakur is writing that when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a young boy, Bhaktivedanta Thakur was teaching and preaching him about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and Prabhupada was like, he was listening to everything and all. And one day Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked that, will you be able to take the responsibility of the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Yogapeeth? And Prabhupada said, no, father, you are doing it, you do that. So he said, you're trying to escape it. So from taking the responsibility of procuring the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or maintaining that place. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur then understood the heart of his father, and that what not father his father was wanting. His father wanted him to take the responsibility. See, even though there were many other children of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur has put the seed of pure devotion inside the heart of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who has preached tirelessly all over the world. So then, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that you are escaping it from taking it, then immediately he said, okay, since you are saying, I will accept it. So that was the greatness. I mean, and he has referred to everywhere, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the one who started. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he revived the Gaudiya Vaishnavism movement, and he was the one who, I mean, who discovered the exact birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that legacy Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur carried of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's why it is called as Bhakti Vinod Dhara.
And in terms of disciples, how many disciples did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur have? Do we know a number?
See, if you from the perspective of, I read, I was reading a journal, and there it was written approximate only from Assam, Bengal, and Orissa. He had around 4,000 disciples only from these three places,
So
but
this is
others have
As
not
you said,
counted.
Assam and Bengal.
Assam, Bengal, and Orissa. He had around 4,000 disciples from these three places.
Wow. This is the first time I've ever actually heard a number.
Yes, I
Uh,
just read it in the journal today. I just read it in the journal today.
and in terms of, so there's likely to be more. It could be
Yes,
10,000,
of
could be
course.
more
See,
than
only
10,000.
Bengal, Orissa, and Assam has been counted. They have not counted Madras,
Mm.
Dhanbad, Delhi, Mumbai. These places they have not counted. Mayapur, Krishnanagar. So it will be more. Only these three places I saw today, so I thought I should note it down
Mm.
so that I can tell you.
And in terms of a number that you might be more familiar with, how many sannyas disciples did he have?
20. 20 sannyas.
20. 20.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating about all of them, or all of them, most of them, is that most of them went on to then have an impact in the Gaudiya Vaishnav world.
Yes.
And I think maybe we'll just, because a lot of the listeners to this podcast, and the viewers, the first thing I also, what I should have said about 3 or 4 minutes ago is that a lot of the viewers and listeners will hear you use the title Prabhupada,
Oh, yes.
and they will think you're referring to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. You're
Oh,
referring to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta
Bhaktisiddhanta.
Saraswati Thakur.
Oh, yeah, it's my fault. I would
No, no,
have
no.
just
It's not your fault. There are two Prabhupads that mostly
yes.
everyone agrees with those semantics, that there are two Prabhupads. Um, and I actually want to get into the habit of calling Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada as well, because I think that's right and that's proper.
Mm.
Um, so around 20 sannyas disciples. I thought it was more, but it's not. 20 is still a great number. And can we just name some of them to kind of put into context? So do you want to have
Yeah,
a go at naming?
like Bhakti Pradeep Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Vivek Bharati Maharaj, Bhakti Gaurav Vaikhanas Maharaj, mm, Bhakti Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Goswami Maharaj. There are other names. The names are so difficult. I don't
No,
remember,
it's
but I have
fine. So
written it
so
down in
uh,
a list.
probably the most well known is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
There's Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj.
Yes. Yes.
uh, Bhakti Daita Madhava Maharaj. I think you might have
Yes.
mentioned him. So that's three. Keshava Maharaj, four.
No, see, you asked me about like the 18 sannyas disciples. So they are not sannyasis. Like
Ah,
Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj, then Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. They are not his sannyas disciples. They are his disciples because Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj got sannyas from his disciple, like Bhakti Gaurav Vaikhanas Maharaj. Then like Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. So they are all his brahmacharis who later got sannyas from disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
okay, okay. Thank you for clarifying that, and thank you for correcting me. Uh, thank you for I appreciate that. There's a bit of a jump in the screen. Can you see or hear me? Okay, you can.
I can hear you okay,
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah. Okay, okay. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada had a lot of sannyas disciples, and way over 4,000 disciples overall. Can you tell us a bit about the Gaudiya Mat in terms of what was the Gaudiya Mat?
See, in 1920, when he established a temporary preaching center at 1 Ultadanga Junction Road, which we know as Bhakti Vinodasan, in that same place in 1920, he established Gaudiya Math. So that was the second milestone I can say, because first, after taking sannyas in Mayapur, he established Chaitanya Math, and then Gaudiya Math in 1920 at Ultadanga Junction, Bhakti Vinodasan. So from there he started. So the mission of Gaudiya Math was to bring devotees, to teach them about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to preach them about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the pure doctrines of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming from Bhakti Vinod Dhara, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Dhara. And yeah, that was what Gaudiya Math wanted to do, so that to preach what no, preach the actual thing, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given, or what other great acharyas, our previous acharyas have given, not something what the pseudo sects they were preaching, like dressing themselves as the Radharani, Lalita, Vishakha, and that. That was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's main preaching about Gaudiya Math. And the main mission in one of the book he wrote, what is the main activity in the Gaudiya Math was like begging alms and publication. These were the two things he mainly focused. So since 1920, his publication started, various publications, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, different other things. We will come to that. So I would like to, speak something about Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, which is very interesting.
Yes,
That how
please.
when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur met Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj at Bhakti Bhavan. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after taking Diksha from Bipin Bihari Goswami, he later, when he saw Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj for the first time, he was very attracted with his personality. And then he immediately took shelter of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and accepted him as his Shiksha Guru. So then he was often trying to associate with Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj also was very much favorable and affectionate towards Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So one time he came to Calcutta at Bhakti Bhavan at Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house in Calcutta, and there he met for the first time Bimala Prasad, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So he saw that he was a 14 or 13-year-old boy, and he heard from Bhaktivinoda Thakur that time Bimala Prasad was doing great in calculating astrological charts and astrology. So then it was always a long time desire of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj to have an almanac only for the Vaishnava community. So then he told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, since he was mastering in the arts of astrology, that you should study astrology more. And he told that you should try publishing an almanac. So many years later, to fulfill the wish of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started publishing Navadvip Panjika almanac, where the dates of the Ekadashi, the appearance and the disappearance dates of all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that has come to this Gaudiya world by his mastering in astrology.
Wow. That's quite amazing. And in terms of that kind of, I think ties us in nicely into a conversation about publications.
Yes.
Because there were a number of publications produced by the Gaudiya Math, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, and those publications were very widely read, certainly during the time of the Gaudiya Math in the 20s and the 30s. Do you want to tell us a bit about those publications and what contents
I will try. Yes, sure. So the first publication, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur started at his house in Bhakti Bhavan, and he named it as the Vaishnav Depository. And from that time, see, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was having so much interest, so he would learn all the techniques of publication from that place where Bhaktivinoda Thakur started at his house. So even though he was a very young boy, but he was learning those from the Vaishnav Depository in the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur at Calcutta. And from there, in 1897, Bhaktivinoda Thakur opened Saraswat Chatushpathi, a school where many educated and important scholars would come every day to teach astrology and other things. So from there, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started publishing his first journal in astrology, the Jyotirvid and Brihaspati. They were the astrological works of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So that was the first time Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started publishing in 1898 or 1897 from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house.
Wow.
And, yes, and that he later started from the Bhagavat Press Yantralaya in Krishnanagar. He started publishing from there, the Nadia Prakash, various other books started publishing. Everywhere he went and preached, he wanted to have a printing press at that same place. You know, in those days, he published around 5 to 6 journals. So Nadia Prakash was a daily newspaper in Bengali. Gaudiya was a weekly journal from Calcutta he was publishing. Then Bhagavat in a journal in Hindi from Delhi, Kurukshetra, Naimisharanya. Then Paramarth in Oriya from Orissa, and it was in Oriya language so that the people in Orissa can taste the nectar. And then Kirtan in Assamese. And not only that, for the English people also, he thought and started publishing the Harmonist. So many publications with limited manpower, but he didn't compromise. And I can say when I was doing this research, when I do research work, when I go through these journals, I feel extremely in depth to these disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that in those days there were no recorders, but they have penned down each and every detail, which we can see today and can understand, because there is no one left on this earth who can speak what they have seen, what happened 150 years ago in Gaudiya Math. 5 to 7 devotees would stand next to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or walk behind him always to take dictations. And today, like a recorder, I feel the recorder will also fail, the electronic recorder, what they have taken in those days by hand. Imagine the sincerity, the devotion, and what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has planted inside them.
Mm. Mm. That's amazing. And are any of those publications still running?
Yes, I mean the Gaudiya is still running from Chaitanya Math. Bhagbajar Gaudiya Mission, they're also publishing Bhakti Patra. My Param Gurudev, he was so inspired by Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj. He was so inspired by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that in 1961 he started Chaitanya Vani. So when I read Chaitanya Vani, it's the same exactly what happened during his era from 1961 till I mean it's still continuing. It's still continuing. Our Mutt is still publishing. It's a like fortnightly magazine and
And
all details.
yeah, and I think also, I mean, I could be wrong, but the Sri Chaitanya Sangha, which is the Tripurara Swami Mat, also produces a publication called The Harmonist. I think.
Yes.
I think.
Harmonist is actually, yes, yes. Harmonist is actually also our Pujapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Mutt also, they have been publishing the Harmonist.
Mm, mm, mm. It's fantastic. And can we just also talk a bit, so there's a bit of context. After Srila
Yes.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur physically left the planet in 1937, what then did happen to the Gaudiya Mat?
See, this is a very, I mean, we won't say it's a dark period, but of course, when an Acharya leaves, so a very special issue has been published by this Gaudiya journal from 1937, and they named it as the Viraha Sankha. Viraha means the separation issue. So very nicely, they have written that what happened when he passed away, how was the situation of the disciples. I mean, they were all, I mean, hopeless. You can say like they don't know like what to do next, what happened, because they were not all prepared.
Mm.
Because um, I was hearing a lecture day before yesterday of Srila Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. He was explaining what was the situation. And in that Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Goswami Maharaj is saying that 3 days they didn't eat, not even a drop of water. The day Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left, the next day when he was taken to Mayapur, and the day he was given Samadhi. So 3 days the devotees, they didn't eat, neither they felt hungry, neither they felt thirsty. So they fasted and then said after coming back to Calcutta, because Sridhar Maharaj was explaining in that lecture that even though Srila Prabhupada left, but one thing he said that we fearlessly preach the words of Rupa and Raghunath. So he said that's why we came back to Calcutta and started with our services what Prabhupada has given to us. So even though they were carried on with the services and other things, there was a split in Gaudiya Math. And I feel it's for good. And I have heard from many sannyasis, senior sannyasis, they said if Gaurima together would have stayed and preached, it would have been from 64 to maybe 164. But now today, all these exalted disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that came out, like Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, like Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Santa Goswami Maharaj, all they have come out, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, all they have come out and have formed different institutions. So now his preaching has become more victorious. Now today, 64 mats have now culminated into around 4,000, 5,000 Gaudiya mats, if you see.
Mm. Mm.
So there is a good side of it, if you see. Even though they were having great affection, love among their god brothers, but even when they came out and preached, there was no problem. They were all having love and affection for their god brothers. Even though, see, it's always in the household if you are staying with, I mean, for an example, if you see in the house, if we stay with parents, families, brothers, sisters, sometimes there will be some problems and also things get reconcile later. In that same way, even though something happened, there are people that discuss about how I mean, mostly about the split and the fights. But I don't think that I mean, in maybe outwardly they were fighting, but inwardly they were all together as brothers under the shelter and the umbrella of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They were having affection, love, and respect for each other. If one god brother would fall sick, the another would immediately jump and go there. I will give you an example. When my Param Gurudev came out, and there were devotees who didn't, there were many devotees who were very much having an animosity towards him. Later, when these devotees fell sick, they're all disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So when these Babajis or other sannyasis or devotees fell sick, my Param Gurudev would send them money for their treatment, would send them medicines, and would write in the letter, "Do not worry, I'm sending this much of money, but if you need more, I can send." And that's what my Param Gurudev taught to all his disciples and his grand disciples, that even though you see any devotee from any institution following, I mean, they are sick, you should not hesitate. You should try to serve them. And that's what the actual Vaishnav Seva he has shown. So by this we can see, even though outwardly they may have fought, but inwardly they were having affection, respect, love
Mm.
for each and every one of disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
That's amazing. It's amazing, and I'm quite touched to hear about stories like that, because unfortunately there are unpleasant divisions in the Gaudiya Vaishnava world, and
Yes.
some
Yes.
institutions, not all, but some institutions can be quite maybe even militant, to thinking that they've got the right way,
I
or
mean,
they're
nowadays you won't see there is so much affection between the god brothers and the sisters, but during Prabhupada's time, I saw all were together. And also after Prabhupada, also I saw in my Param Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, when I was reading these journals, I saw like in every occasion, whether it's Janmashtami, whether it's the annual festival of our Sri Chaitanya Gauriya Math, my Param Gurudev would invite each of his god brothers. And pictures I saw, Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Shanta Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Sharan Santa Maharaj, then Bhakti Gaurav Vaikhanas Maharaj, all would come and participate. And and it would look so nice that all the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, along with their disciples, attending a festival together. In
Mm.
context to this, I will tell you, I know maybe you have heard about her, Krishna Mai Didi. She was a very senior disciple of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. So I had the misfortune that I couldn't see her because she lived very long, but I have heard a lot of glories about her. So the sannyasi who was serving her is Giri Maharaj. Giri Maharaj was also used to be the personal servant of Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. So one time I interviewed Giri Maharaj and he told me this Krishnamai Didi, she was lying on the bed and she was laughing. So Giri Maharaj immediately came and asked, Didi, why are you laughing? What happened? She didn't respond. Again, Giri Maharaj asked that, Didi, what happened? Why are you laughing? Please share with us. You must be seeing something very beautiful. Please share with us. We know we are not eligible, but please share with us. And then she shared. She saw in her dream that on the seashore in Puri, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Deta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, they have all gone to Jagannath Puri with their disciples, and in the sea, they're all taking bath and splashing water on each other and vigorously enjoying that moment. That she was seeing her in a dream.
wow. Yeah, that's
I mean,
amazing. That's amazing. Amazing dream, amazing picture. And Krishna Maya Didi, she lived for a long time, didn't she? I think she was like
yes,
102 when she left her body.
102, yes, 102, 3 years old, she lived.
And she left this world in 2002, 2001,
That I'm not sure about.
something like that. But she was, certainly from what I've read, also amazing personality, and a real stalwart of Krishna consciousness. I think I've referred to her in my book. It's terrible that I've
Yes,
forgotten,
yes, yes,
because
yes.
kind of those that would then follow her in that kind of mat, in that environment. A technical question: the Gaudiya Mat as an institution doesn't exist anymore, does it? As an
The Gaudiya
institution,
Math?
yeah.
Yeah, it exists. Because see, Bhaktisid,
Actually, as a registered institution in India, is there an organization called the Gaudiya Mat?
See, after it was divided, the 64 Math was divided 32 with the Chaitanya Math and 32 with the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. So the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math has registered the 32 branches. But Chaitanya Math, I think they have not registered, and that's why they don't have the 32 together. But whatever is registered under Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math, Gaudiya Mission, I mean, so it falls under, Gaudiya Math falls under that. So if you see, the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math is named as Sri Gaudiya Math. The Madras Gaudiya Math is named as Sri Gaudiya Math. So these are all, Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math is under Gaudiya Mission, and Madras Gaudiya Math is under Chaitanya Math. So they have registered their 32 branches, but the Chaitanya Math, they didn't. So that's why later what happened, whoever was there as the in charge of the temples, they have taken possession of those temples.
Mm. Mm. Thank you for sharing that. It's often a conversation that I have with devotees, and devotees often use this term, the Gaudiya Math, and in one context, I'll use a number of contexts of how it's used. So one context would be, I'll just use one example, devotees in ISKCON who've only experienced Vaishnavism in ISKCON might say, might think that or perceive the Gaudiya Math as a separate organization from ISKCON. So one is, or someone is ISKCON or Gaudiya Math. And technically that's not correct.
See, now there are many Gaudiya Maths, like Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, Gopinath Gaudiya Math, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, so many Gaudiya Maths.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've had to explain to a lot of friends of mine in ISKCON that it doesn't quite work like that. There isn't a singular organization that's independent from ISKCON or separate from ISKCON called the Gaudiya Math. ISKCON is one branch, and it's a very big branch of the Gaudiya Vaishnava family, but there's lots of groups and mats and sanghas, all in the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, and an even bigger tree in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because most of all of what we are referring to is the Sarasvat line, those that come from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Prabhupada. There are also other Gaudiya Vaishnava practitioners who are from different lines. You know, we have a very big following in the UK of those that are in the Nityananda line. You know, various Babajis. But I rambled a bit. So that's one context in terms of. I've had to explain to people in ISKCON that it doesn't quite work like that. But also on the other side of the coin, I've heard devotees who, I'll give an example. I have some friends, I have lots of friends. I have some friends in the Narayan Maharaj Mat, and they will quite happily say that they are part of the Gaudiya Mat.
Yes, of
and
course.
I'm just
We
intrigued.
are all, see, even ISKCON, if you see even ISKCON and whatever Gaudiya Mats now exist, we are all under the umbrella of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is the main root of the tree, and we are all his branches.
Yeah. And I love that personally, because I like diversity. I don't feel threatened or worried or challenged by diversity. I love it.
Yes.
We're all different, intrinsically different, and we will all practice our Vaishnavism, our bhakti, in slightly different ways according to our personality, according to our preferences.
If you see in a broader perspective today, whatever we are reading, whatever we are, in terms of books, scriptures, everything is coming from Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We cannot deny that. Whatever translations of the books, commentaries, everything they have started, and we are following that. So it shows that we are from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and no one else. So we are all under his umbrella. And you were referring, I didn't mention that time that about the Prabhupada thing. So Prabhupada is a title because, you know, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was mastering in astrology, so the scholars of the Sanskrit college and the other colleges, they saw his great, greatness in astrological things. So then all the scholars decided that they will give him the title Sri Siddhanta Saraswati. So when he was 15 years old, he got this title. And Prabhupada is also a title. If you see in the other sects, and the Babaji Sampradaya and all, they call devotees of the Guru as Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is a title. That title can be used by anyone. But we mostly refer this title to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and also our AC Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So it's a title.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining what that is. And it's good just because a lot of us will use these terms, these expressions or labels, and not really think about what they mean or what they might mean. Okay. So this year, we've already established, this year celebrates the 150, it celebrates 150 years of the Lion Guru. You've kind of answered this already, but I think I'll just push those questions out there again. What was or is his legacy? And what do you think is his greatest contribution to the world today?
So since this is the 150th birth anniversary, we are celebrating all over the world. You can see devotees worldwide, they're celebrating his 150th birth anniversary. I think his legacy is his devotees. His disciples. I will just give 2-3 examples. You know, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started slowly setting up the preaching center, he made a pamphlet or an advertisement and he sent out to devotees that Gaudiya Math has been formed. If anybody is interested to practice pure Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they can come and join here. And only thing they have to do is to chant Harinam the whole day, to dedicate themselves in the service of the Lord. So one person saw this advertisement and have come to him and said that I have saw this advertisement and I'm here, I want to join. So then Prabhupada asked him, are you sure that you want to join? Here you have to like 24 hours chant the name of the Lord and have to dedicate yourself in the service of the Lord. So he said, yes, I saw this and that's why I'm interested and came. So when he joined the institution, he was only chanting Harinam. He was immersed himself in chanting Harinam. And he's none other than our most revered Srila Akinchana Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj. So when he was not having any other services at the Math, he was only immersed in chanting of Harinam. And when other devotees at the Math would see, they would go and complain to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he's not assisting us in any service. He's just chanting. Why don't you tell him something? Prabhupada, if you one day can develop the taste of chanting what he has, then I will also withdraw all the other services from you of cooking, cleaning, preaching, and will make you do that. So Prabhupada would even know that what a great chanter he was. So later, my Param Gurudev, when he would invite Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj to our Math for any programs, devotees have never seen him sleeping. Whole day and night, he would only chant. When he was given a room with other disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when these disciples would come in to the room, he would left the room and would go downstairs and chant in front of the Lord. When they would go down, he would come inside the room and would chant. Nobody has seen him sleeping. He would only chant. So now can you understand the greatness of this devotee? So how great will be his spiritual master? So I think I do not have that capacity to describe like the greatness of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So now another is my Param Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj. He was given the title by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as volcanic energy. Why? Because where everyone would stop, then he would start. And he was so enthusiastic for service. One time he completed his preaching in Madras and came back. He just left his bag and he paid pranams to Prabhupada that, okay, I have come from Madras. Prabhupada just said, okay, you are coming back from Madras now, completed the preaching there. Okay, so in 2 hours, you take prasad and go to Mayapur because you have this service. And he would immediately, without even protesting that, Prabhupada, I have just come, I need a day's rest. Something like that. One time Prabhupada asked him, my Param Gurudev, what do you want from me? He said, I'm always waiting to get, you should keep on giving me services one by one, one by one. When you're not giving it to me, I feel that's my greatest misfortune. So he would always wait. They would not say that, okay, like for me, if you ask me to do this or do that, I will say, okay, Prabhuji, I will come back in next week. He was always ready for service. Completed one service, ready for another service. So imagine, and also our AC Bhaktivedanta Swami, we say that life starts at 71. At 71 of years of age, he left all the comfort and traveled to West to give them the taste of Harinam, to give them what his Guru Maharaj has said. Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, even though he was so old, he was bent, he would not deviate from anything. His daily worship of Giriraj, his daily worship of that, nothing. So you see each disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they are gems. So now can you understand the greatness of that, how great their spiritual master will be? So I don't think I have the capability to describe what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is. I can only glorify him through his disciples.
Well, thanks for your honesty. I love that, and I think if I was asked the same question, I would have pretty much the same answer. You know, we can learn about personalities through their
Yes,
disciples and through their grand disciples, through the
yes. And
lineages that we're from.
yes, and as you said, his greatest contribution, I think his greatest contribution to the world is that his disciples that he has given, through them we have come to this path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's legacy
Yeah.
and his books, the books he has. Like, if he wouldn't have not given commentaries of Chaitanya Charitamrita, of like Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentaries, his commentaries are there. If he would have not worked on those, we would have not read the Chaitanya Charitamrita so easily. Chaitanya Bhagavat, then Brahma Samhita, Vaishnavism, real and apparent, but Mon Tumi Kisher, Vaishnav, so many beautiful writings. And especially, I mean, nowadays I'm reading all the literary works of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which is unpublished. There is a very nice book which he wrote, actually he compiled, uh, Amar Prabhur Katha. It's about his spiritual master Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Said big,
Mm.
I mean, it's a thin book, but there it's like numerous experiences what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had with Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So see, we don't know who is Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj if we will not read that. So that is, I think, the books, the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's books, lectures,
Mm.
magazines, journals are the greatest contribution to the world now. That's why these researchers, these scholars can work on him, can work on Bhaktivinoda Thakur, can work on different subjects, and are, getting PhD, doctorate, because of his works. So
Mm.
that's the biggest contribution of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
And what a contribution it is, you know, even what year is it now? So 2024. It's almost, you know, it's 85 years, almost around 85 years since Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada left the planet, but almost a century later, we're still talking about him. And we still completely recognize his impact. And I would even say his impact is getting bigger, because we're still
Yeah,
practicing Krishna consciousness.
yeah,
New in a positive way, new mats are still being formed, new projects are still
yeah,
being set up. You know, people are still inspired
yeah.
almost 100 years later to make a difference and do new things. And at the moment, I'm doing a bit of research into, or a bit of work rather, on independent Hare Krishna groups in Europe that are not kind of part of a bigger lineage, not part of a bigger mat, and they're still being created, they're still forming, you know. And I'm trying to do some work around bringing them together and working together, you know, sharing resources, being inspired by each other. And so it's amazing when you hear people still being attracted or inspired to follow Prabhupada in that way.
I mean, what he has given, I mean, these journals, if you read what happened 50 years ago, you will know. 150 years ago, sorry. And all the other books, and the literally, I mean, the literary contribution of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the greatest, the treasure which we have. Still, will say, still 7 lifetimes will pass. Also, we won't be able to understand what he has given to us, because there are 40,000 images and 5,000 issues of the Nadia Prakash daily magazine in Bengali that has not been translated. But a good thing is, I would like to share here, His Grace Gauranga Prabhu.
Please.
Uh, Gauranga Prabhu from Mumbai, Chopati, he took the initiative of translating these Nadia Prakash Bengali newspapers into English language to give it to the world what happened 150 years ago. So already he started the translation, and there is a website also, nadiaprakash.com, where you can go and can read those newspapers thoroughly in English language now. What happened 150 years ago at Gaudiya Math, how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur struggled, gone through extreme adversities to establish the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, please share. You are a co-host, so you can share what you like.
Yes.
Share
So now I
away.
would like to speak. I mean, I have made some notes on the various journals which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to publish. And also during his lifetime, you know, it was his utmost desire to establish the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all the places that touch the feet of Mahaprabhu in India. So in 8 places, he could establish the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it was his desire to establish like 108 footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over India. So the places where he installed the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Mandar, and he named it as Chaitanya Padapit. Padapit means the footprints of Mahaprabhu. So in Mandar, in 13th of October in 1920, he did the first installation of the footprint. On 15th of October in Kanai Natshala, he did the second installation. And on 25th of December 1930, in Jajpur, it's in Orissa district, he did the third installation of the footprint. And on 26th of December 1930, in Kurmashetra, it's in South India, he did the fourth installation. The fifth installation he did in Simhachal on 27th of December 1930. And on the sixth installation he did in Kovur, where the meeting place of Rai Ramanandan Mahaprabhu on 29th of December 1930. The seventh one he did on 31st of December 1930 in Mangalgiri, that's also in the Orissa district. And the last one, the eighth one, on 22nd of April 1934 at Chhatrabhog in Orissa. So these are the 8 places he installed the footprints of Mahaprabhu, but his desire was to do 108. But Jayapataka Maharaj is trying to fulfill the desire of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So now he is trying to locate those 108 places and is trying to fulfill the desire of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur by installing the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 108 places of India.
Wow, that's
He
amazing.
has started this project.
Amazing.
Already in Vrindavan he did, and in other places also he will do. And not only that, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, wherever he visited for preaching in terms of Dhanbad, Bangladesh, Dehradun, Delhi, Kurukshetra, Punjab, he tried to establish theistic spiritual exhibition. So there is a list of many theistic spiritual exhibition he conducted in different places of India.
Did you want to show us something on the screen?
Yes, I would like to show you the different journals he published.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way. That was just fascinating. Really encouraging to hear. Here
Can you see?
Yes, something's happened. Okay.
So this is like the Nadia Prakash. This used to be the daily newspaper during Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time. So every day he would publish this daily newspaper from Mayapur, and it was circulated all over Nadia district. So you can see this is the first image which says Dainik Nadia Prakash, daily Nadia Prakash. And the first page would comprise of all the world news, what's happening in the world, and then 8 pages of newspaper every day. 8 pages of newspaper every day. Wow. So I just want to I
mean, I struggle to read my own emails every day, let alone I get so many.
So in 1926, Srila Prabhupada started publishing the Dainik Nadia Prakash to preach the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and associates from Sridham Mayapur. Firstly, it was published in English and Bengali language twice a week. Later on, 20th of February 1928, by the desire of Srila Prabhupada, it was made into a daily newspaper.
Wow.
Then next you can see Sajjana Toshani. This was started by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, the journal Sajjana Toshani. So apart from Bhaktivedanta Thakur, the other literate class in Bengal, those who were having knowledge in Vaishnava philosophy, they would contribute in this magazine by writing articles. And if you see below in Bengal, it is written, the editor and the publisher was none other than Sri Bimala Prasad Siddhanta Saraswati.
Wow.
And the copy, you can see this is from 1915, which also Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started publishing even after the departure of Bhaktivedanta Thakur.
Just out of interest, where does it say 1915?
Oh, it's in Bengali.
Because I don't understand. So I just think it's quite. Yeah.
No, it's in Bengali. It's in below. You can see it's 1915.
It's okay. I have I mean, I have quite a few Gujarati
And
friends,
this
and
is the picture
yeah,
of the press. This is the picture of the
wow.
press because from where all these great journals were getting published.
And where is this press right now?
See, Bagbazar Gaudiya Math has preserved one, which was in Cuttack. So if you go to the Chaitanya Museum in Bagbazar, they have preserved one press,
Yeah.
the original one from the Cuttack Gaudiya Math.
Wow.
This is
Wow.
Gaudiya. This used to be the weekly journal which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would publish from Calcutta. So Gaudiya, so he wrote about Gaudiya, that is a Bengali weekly published from the Gaudiya Math Bhaktivinod Asan, starting from 19th of August 1922. In the first edition of its 15th year, Srila Prabhupada commented, the Gaudiya has been singing of the inconceivable beauty of Golok. For the last 14 years, it served as the Gaudiya mission with great determination, just as Lakshman has served Lord Ramchandra.
Mm. Wow.
So it started in 1922 until 1945. It was there, and then later, Chaitanya Math and also Bagbazar, they're continuing.
Mm.
And also Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, when he formed Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, he also started Gaudiya Patrika. And the chief editor of that Gaudiya Patrika was A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And there are many
Amazing.
Bengali articles written by him.
Yeah, I knew that A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was one of the founding trustees of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism Committee, but I didn't know he was the editor of the magazine that you just mentioned. I didn't
And
know that.
And the one which you can see on the screen now, this is Paramarthi. This was a journal in Oriya language. So on
Mm.
16th of May 1932, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started this fortnightly magazine on every Ekadashi in the Oriya language from Satchidananda Math in Cuttack.
Wow. Wow.
So he was not depriving, you can say he was not depriving any devotees of Oriya language, devotees of Hindi language, devotees of other language. He was trying to publish everything for them. This is the one in Harmonist. It started in 1927.
And we're kind of around about now, it's 2024 now, we're kind of around about the centennial anniversaries of a lot of these magazines,
Yes.
100-year anniversaries. So I hope that some of us somewhere are celebrating these anniversaries because they're very important in our tradition, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition.
Yes. And this is Bhagavat in Hindi. So Bhagavat on 18th of November 1931, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started this Hindi magazine from Sri Naimisharanya Paramhansa Math on every full moon, Purnima and new moon, Amavasa. On these 2 days, 15 days gap, he would publish this magazine in Hindi. And one picture I couldn't retrieve, that is Kirtan. Kirtan was in Assamese language. So as he was also extensively preaching in Assam, so Srila Prabhupada started an Assamese monthly spiritual magazine from Goalpara Prapanna Ashram.
Wow.
So you can see his contribution and his greatness.
And you literally live and breathe this on a daily basis.
Yeah, my main service or work, you can say, like delving into these journals, the histories 150 years ago, and retrieving information and translating them into language. Like so I will a little bit speak about the exhibition we
Yes,
curated.
please do. Please do.
So on the occasion of the 150th birth anniversary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre curated exhibition at the TOVP temple in Mayapur, on the first floor, TOVP temple in Mayapur. So there we have showcased like all his covering his journey from his appearance to disappearance and highlights his role as a world acharya and preacher. And also this exhibit showcase his invaluable contributions to modern Gaudiya Vaishnavism, his extensive travels, the installation of the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the spiritual exhibition across India, and his prolific writing and publishing endeavors. And apart from that, I have also made a section there where the 64 maths, the establishment of the 64 maths with the name of the deities, the date it was established, and the place. Not only that, and small research I have done after I worked with you on your book, the Hare Krishnas in UK, I did a small research on the 5 Western disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So also a space we have given there with a little bit of description about the first 5 Western disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Wow. I would love to see that. I just think of people like Arnold Korblath, Hilda Korbel. I think were the
Yes.
first 2
Arnold
Western
Korblath,
initiates.
Arnold Korblath, Hilda Korbel, Stella Harris, then Vinod Vanidasi, and Vishnupriya Dasi and Sadananda Das.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. And just so a lot of the listeners and viewers know, so the exhibition, the 150th anniversary exhibition of the life and times and the contribution and the legacy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which is currently in Mayapur.
Yes, so this is the exhibition. I don't know if you can see.
And just to clarify, it's at the ISKCON temple in Mayapur.
Yes, the temple of Vedic Planetarium, on the new temple they're constructing on the first floor. It's still there. So
Yeah.
now, earlier it was open to all. Now for special request, if you go and ask, and they will open it for you. So on around 3,000 square feet, this museum has been curated by the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre. And I'm extremely grateful to my guide, Dr. Sumanta Rudra, who is the Dean Academics of the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre, who chose me to be a major part for this event. And he was one of the biggest support. And I remember, I mean, he chose me, and then he asked me, you have to do it. I don't know. And I was completely clueless, like on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and on a very limited time. So 3 months it only took to do the entire research. I mean, from his appearance till his disappearance, his contribution, where he pitched. So you see, these are like 8 feet panels. Each panel has, I mean, I have tried to show like appearance, January to December, 1874, 1875, January to December. Like this every year, the whole month, the activity of the whole month, along with rare pictures, and main thing is the newspaper cutouts. It was one of the difficult job I have ever done to collect those newspaper articles from various newspaper companies. I mean, getting those newspapers, because that what had attracted the visitors. When I spoke with them, they said, because see, I can say Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur preached in Madras, where he preached in Madras. If I'm not showing that he has preached to the excellence, I mean, to the mayor or the governor of Madras, it won't have any significance. So when I'm showing the newspaper that he was invited by the governor of Madras or by the king of this place, only that makes a difference. So there are many newspaper cutouts you will get to see, which I have tried to accumulate and put it. That's I wanted to do, so that when I'm writing it down, the description, it should have a proof from the past that this was published on the newspaper on 1932, 1933 on this date.
Wow. So you pretty much put together, organized, project managed
Yeah,
this
so like it was,
exhibition.
Dr. Sumant Rudra completely relied on me, because I was doing mostly research on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his disciples. My main field is now actually to do research on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his associates. So when I was doing that for several other projects, then he thought that I can do, of course, I cannot do anything. And as I said, that I can, if I say that I know about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I have done a great research, then I'm the biggest fool. So I cannot know him unless he showers his blessings on me. And if I say I have known Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, not at all. I'm still trying to know his greatness as a great acharya. What I only feel, he's an amazing. What he has given to us, it's beyond my imagination. So this is one picture. I show a few more pictures.
Yes, please. It looks wonderful. And this is at the ISKCON temple of the Vedic Planetarium in Mayapur. So I just want to, so viewers and readers really understand that it's thanks, I was to say, it's thanks to you, it's thanks to Sri Guru and Sri Garanga, but you have been used as an instrument to put this together, you know, and so we're forever in debt to you for this contribution. You know, it's quite phenomenal. And in 3 months as well. I would spend a lot of that time just thinking. Philosophizing, but okay, sorry,
And
tell us about
yeah, so this is the other side of the exhibition. You see, here are all his contributions. the books he has compiled, the books he has edited, the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur he has edited, and on the right hand side is the extreme right is the 5 Western disciples with their 2 pictures. So these are
Wow.
the panels, if you see.
I think I'll come to India just for this. Wow. And there's obviously 64 panels.
No, I mean, I don't, 98 panels.
Okay.
98 panels.
Okay.
This is on the inauguration day. Everybody came, and like big acharyas like Radhanath Maharaj was there, Jayapataka Maharaj, Bhanu Swami, and others. They were all saying that they said that this is one of the biggest museum, or by the media, they have said that this is one of the biggest exhibit has happened on Vaishnav scent ever.
Amazing.
And the good thing is everybody enjoyed, everybody. So when the early pioneers of ISKCON, they were there, I mean, Malati Mataji and other, they said that till today we were under the impression that we are the first Westerners of the Hare Krishna movement. But when they saw that before them are Vinod Vani Dasi, Arnold Korblat, Sadananda, they said, after today, our illusion is, it broke now. So we are not the first one. So there were others also who joined the mission during Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And see, the title was given Revolutionary Acharya. And this was the entrance.
Wow. Wow. It's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing these photos. Just wonderful. And I'm pleased that you talked about kind of Malati, David Dassi. Look,
Yes.
seeing the exhibition, looking at and discovering those 1930s initiates, and I spend a lot of time having to tell devotees today that actually there was a movement in Britain, in Europe, in the 1930s, and actually the devotees, the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Prabhupada, were quite successful at attracting people to Krishna consciousness in 1930s London, and they had a small temple, and they were having evening programs every day, kirtan, prasadam, talks. A number of Westerners, or as the books say, foreigners to
Yes.
India, were taking initiation in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. So thank you so much for sharing that, and I'm pleased that we scheduled this podcast because we were going to record it in February, but obviously you were incredibly busy preparing for this
Yes,
exhibition.
that time I was like, I think those were the days I was like, I would hardly sleep because time was very less. And after I accumulated all the documents, when I took it to the designer, he said, "Sorry, sir, I cannot put everything here in the design because otherwise people will get their neck stuck. They will have neck pain to see your
Yeah.
museum like." Then another 7 days I took only to deduct things, to omit things. So now after we got a very good response by the blessings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and everyone requested our academics, and I have only taken the name of my dean academics, but there were other devotees at the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre who actually helped uh, in this museum. There is our Balaram Lila Prabhu, other research assistants were there. They were also in some other ways, like Balaram Lila Prabhu is one of the main army of our Bhaktivedanta Research Center, who is like making it stand by his main he's the main fundraiser, like by his blessings or his contribution. Bhaktivedanta Center is running, because you know very well it's a private institution, not a government recognized. So to run such a big institution, taking care of all these rare documents and books, it's like that takes a lot of hard work to collect funds. So yes, so those days were extremely difficult. Doing research, taking it to the designer, sitting with the designer, selecting the pictures. But we got a good response from all the devotees and the other people, and they said we should come up with a book. So now I'm working on the book on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where we will show this as an exhibit, more with pictures and more with newspaper advertisement of his contribution to the world.
Mm.
At least see, when the 100 years of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was celebrated, I was not there. At least for 150, I am here. So I wanted to do something for him for this 150th year. So this, of course, he chose me an instrument to for this particular service. And surprisingly, this year is also my Guru Maharaj's 100th year, Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. So much I couldn't do for my Guru Maharaj because I mostly concentrated on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But I feel he will be pleased with that because, yeah. So that is the thing. So I was reading Chaitanya Vani, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's 100th appearance, I mean, the centennial celebration took place in 1973, a committee was formed as the committee was formed in the name as BSS Centenary Committee. And Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj was the president, and my Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Tirtha Goswami Maharaj was the secretary. And in all over India, they did programs in each and every state of India, and dignitaries were invited, and they spoke and glorified about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So imagine after 1973, which we have not seen, but now we can read what happened on the centennial celebration of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1973. So now we can see what is happening all over the world about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's 150th celebration.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And maybe you and I will still be here at the 200th or the 200-year celebration.
I hope.
We never know. We never know.
Yes.
We'll have to see. Well, maybe you and I can record a podcast in 50 years' time, or whatever means of technology we have then.
Yes.
To record something. We've had a fantastic conversation. I just want to. I've just reminded myself. Some viewers and listeners may want to find out more about the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre, which is where you work. I know we talked about it last year when you were previously a guest, but just remind us about the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre and how people can find out more about it.
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page as a Bhaktivedanta Research Center because our website is under maintenance now. So in a few days it will come up. So now I cannot give the website URL. So it will be updated on our Facebook page. So if they go on Bhaktivedanta Research Center, they can see what kind of research work, what are the projects are currently we are doing.
Wow. Thank you. And I think you've also recently had a visitor from the UK, a friend of mine, Maitreya. Unfortunately, you didn't meet him, but someone from...
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to meet him because now, since I'm here in Calcutta, I will meet him soon.
Yeah. And I encourage any devotees in India to visit the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre.
You should also visit. It's been quite a long time now. You should visit.
I know. I have so much to do on my to-do list. It's not good, actually. My to-do list in terms of travel is increasing.
Yes.
Sundar Gopal Prabhu, we've had a fantastic conversation today. Believe it or not, we've been recording this podcast for about well over an hour. And I really appreciated the conversation to mark and celebrate Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And even though you don't feel qualified, I do think you are qualified enough to speak about this very exalted personality.
After even 1 or maybe 1 hour 15 minutes, I think that I actually have not focused into the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That was just the beginning. I have not get into about his preaching, even though I have thought to speak about many things. But see, that is his greatness. He is not limited into 1 hour. He is like beyond all this.
Absolutely.
So one can speak about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur for hours and hours.
We need 150 years, really. We need 150 years to do it. Okay. So with this podcast, I will put links to the Bhaktivedanta Research Centre, like I did with your previous podcast when you were guest 78, and now you're guest 125. And so people can find out more about you. And again, I would of course encourage devotees and non-devotees, anyone, to visit the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium so you can see this wonderful exhibition put together by Sundar Gopal Prabhu and
by the Bhaktivedanta Research Center.
The Bhaktivedanta Research Centre.
On behalf of Bhaktivedanta Research Centre. Of course, I'm in debt to Bhaktivedanta Research Centre, especially to Hare Prabhu, because I remember in 2014 he interviewed me, and that's from where my life has taken a whole different turn. So I'm forever in debt to His Grace Hare Prabhu, always.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Sundar Gopal Prabhu, I'm just going to say goodbye to the viewers and listeners at home, and you and I can have a brief debrief after.
Before we conclude, I would like to read one last line which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he left this world, he was in
Please.
Jagannath for 1 month. So in a very meditative mood, he was there, and he would frequently remind devotees something. So that's the last line I will speak, what he used to say, and then we can finish it. It is in this life that we have to serve our Lord, so we can gain eternal service at the lotus feet of our eternal Lord. We should not waste any time. All of you should know that I give you my blessings, whether you are present here today or far away. Just remember that our only religious duty is to preach the message of the Bhagavat and service to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Jai. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Ki Jai.
Jai.
That's a fantastic way to conclude and finish the podcast. Thank you for sharing those words with us.
Thank you for allowing me to speak about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I think this is his arrangement that he made, that I should speak something, even though I'm not qualified, but I feel he made me speak. Thank you.
I think so too. Everything is Krishna's arrangements, and I'm pleased that we managed to get this in our diaries to record this today. So a big thank you to everyone at home for watching, listening to this podcast, episode 125 of the Hare Krishna Project podcast. Do not forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, to hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching this on Facebook, to like or follow the Hare Krishna Project Facebook page. Please also send us your feedback. I love to hear from our viewers and listeners. And I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment, because I always receive feedback after, and I apologize. It takes a while then to respond to the feedback. So maybe I shouldn't say that we want feedback. But thank you so much for those that do send feedback, and please do send some feedback. I am very strongly of the view that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is still a unifying force in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. He is the one that brings many of us together, and he is one of the personalities. His life and his teachings is something that we can all rally around and bring us together. So thank you for tuning into this week's podcast, and until next week, I'll see you all soon. Thank you. Hare Krishna.